The time is 6:30, and I will call the meeting to order, and we will stand now for the Pledge of Allegiance and then invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And
Lord Jesus, we thank you so much for just the day and just the beautiful weather outside. And Lord, we thank you so much that we get to come into a place like this and just do business that helps hopefully benefit the city and the citizens. And so, Lord, I pray that you would just be with us tonight. You give us wisdom and guidance, and Lord, that you would just let your blessings fall upon this place. We love you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Nick. I will read through the announcements here, and all of these meetings are in this room here. We have the council meeting, which is tonight, municipal court, March the 19th, council retreat, March the 22nd, planning commission, March the 25th at 6 p.m., tree board meeting, March the 27th at 6 p.m., council work session, April the 3rd, 6:30 p.m., historic preservation meeting, April the 8th, 8 a.m., downtown development authority, April the 10th, 5:30 p.m., and then the next council meeting will be April the 15th at 6:30 p.m. And now we're going to move on to presentations, employee introduction, and recognition.
Mine's not working either.
The mic's not working?
Did you?
Yours is working.
That setting on this.
They're not even lighting up. Oh, she's got it.
Okay.
The other one.
Or maybe you did. Okay, well, I didn't
Yeah,
even
when
do
you
that.
do, when you
All
do
right.
both buttons, it mutes
can only have
everybody
one
else.
of them.
Did you know you had such power?
All right, I don't believe we have any introductions tonight, do we? So we'll call Amber up for the
Downtown
rundown.
Thank you.
Good evening. I have a couple of things on the rundown for March. The first thing being our St. Patrick's Day beer crawl that was scheduled for last weekend because of the weather, the severe weather that we were anticipating. We decided to reschedule, so that got moved to this weekend. It will be this Saturday, the 22nd, from 6 to 8 o'clock in downtown. We encourage everyone to come out and shop, take advantage of some drink specials the restaurants will have, and we will have a DJ and some games set up in Friendship Park. Next thing on the list is the Social Circle Day Festival. We're quickly approaching the vendor application deadline. That deadline is March the 28th. The festival will take place on Saturday, April the 19th from 10 to 4. And this is just the spring equivalent of our Friendship Festival. Bike Ride Across Georgia will once again be making a pit stop in Social Circle on Saturday, April 5th from 10:30 to 4:30. They will have a setup in the parking lot behind the fire department, and they'll use a portion of Friendship Park as well. Last year when they did just a pit stop here, they had about 750 riders that came throughout the day. And last on the list is the opening weekend concert for our Friendship Park Summer Concert Series. That will take place also on April the 5th in Friendship Park. We'll have the 88ers. They're an 80s tribute band. We've had them here before for a couple of concerts. They'll be performing in Friendship Park from 6 to 8 o'clock. So we encourage everyone to bring their blankets, chairs, and come out and join us that night. That's all I have for right now.
Thank you, Amber.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have citizens requests. Doug Hawkins.
Thank you for having the time to reiterate what I sent you earlier. Enjoyed your presentation at the previous meeting. I did send a memo or letter to you on 3/11/2025, and I want to preface what I did there by stating that the reason that I've done that is I've looked through the minutes and found some information as a result of that reviewing the minutes from the retreat that I think would be very helpful to the citizens as a whole if we were to present that to them, because we do spend, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes for a safety operation for the gas department, which is well received, and I think that this would present to, I think, our general public what the plan has been, even though it's a preliminary plan. A lot of the things that come out of those meetings result in expenditures that, we aren't aware of, and we get some surprises. So I'm just going to briefly read that, and I'll sit down and let you have it. Due to the liability of the inability of the public to attend or participate in the joint board, school board, and the city council retreats, I'm requesting that the summary minutes from the February 1st, 2025, including any visuals, be presented to the public in a regular scheduled council meeting. This will enable the citizens to fully be informed of the proposed planning by the respective council boards. Although these meetings seem to be restricted to only member participation, a formal presentation would indicate the direction the elected officials intend to go on how these funds will be allocated. And I further request that any similar retreats like that we treat the minutes from that in a like fashion. I believe that would give us a better presentation to the public, because this is when you as a board and the city school board is making a plan, although it's a preliminary plan. We as taxpayers should be aware of what you've got going through your mind, because very honestly, we pay your salaries. And so we think that, or I think, and some of the people I've talked to think that would be a good idea. I would hope that you'd be able to respond to that, Ms. Mayor, or Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, at this time, we would take that in consideration. So, we'll think about it. We'll take your comments, and we thank you for your comments. And we will definitely think
Thank
about
you
it.
for your
Thank you.
time.
Do we have any council requests? Okay. Agenda approval. Have a motion?
Do we need to table the public hearing?
That's on the agenda.
So it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda already.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Nathan and a second from Tyson. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Okay. Okay, we have a public hearing, town hall public hearing, and to be tabled to April the 15th at the request of the applicant.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem, as the public is aware, we had a public hearing scheduled for tonight to hear the proposed town development coming in over Wildwood. We have had a request come in from the representative for the applicant, asking for it to be tabled until April 15th.
Okay. Any further discussion? Can I have a motion?
So moved. I'll second that motion to table it to April
15.
15th.
Okay, we have a motion from Nathan, a second from Tyson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes?
Nay.
Okay, we have, motion passes to be tabled until April 15th. Consent agenda?
Mayor Pro Tem, we have two items on the consent agenda this evening. We have approval of the minutes of the mayor regular council meeting from February 18, 2025, and we have approval of the executive session minutes from February 18, 2025. Recommend approval.
Say a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion for Tyson, second from Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Nay. Motion passes. Okay, we're gonna move to new business.
Okay, so first item on your new business is approval of the fourth supplemental bond resolution authorizing the issuance of the combined public utility revenue bonds series 2025. We had the sale of those bonds happen this morning, and I'll ask Doug Gephardt to come up and present the results of that and whatever next steps we have.
Wonderful. Thank you for the introduction, City Manager and Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Great to be in front of you again here tonight. Again, Doug Gephardt with Davenport and Company, and with us today also is our bond counsel, John Fennell and Stephen Swinson. Today was a culmination of a lot of months of hard work, and we're excited to share the results with you all this evening. As you may recall, back in December, you approved what's called a parameters bond resolution that kind of set forth the maximum terms and conditions that we were able to go out and sell. Today, we actually went and sold those bonds. So in front of you, you have a little brief presentation that I'll be walking through today. And I'll first start off by saying is in order to go and sell bonds in the public market, we have to go get a credit rating. And through this credit rating process, S&P assigned an A- rating to the Series 2025 bonds, which still falls into the what I'll call the strong category from the rating agency's perspective. But you can see there we also highlighted the AA rating. And so as part of this issuance, we recommended that the city seek bond insurance from Assured Guaranty. And by purchasing that bond insurance, it allowed us to sell the bonds with an insured rating of AA. And so as a result of that, you were able to get some better pricing. And I think that will factor into what we did today. So essentially that bond insurance helps the bond holders that if there were to ever be a default or missed payments or drawn reserves, they would help cover those payments if needed. So that was an extra security that we added to this issuance to help improve the city's overall pricing. So this morning, last week, we mailed the preliminary official statement and notice of sale to the underwriting community, who then marketed the bonds to their investors. And the notice of sale outlined that at 10:45 this morning, we were to receive bids from the respective underwriters. And at 10:45, we were pleased to report that we received 5 bids from Robert W. Baird, Wells Fargo, Truist, Jefferies, and Morgan Stanley. In order to satisfy the IRS and a lot of the legal provisions, 3 is required, so we received more than the legal requirement. And Baird provided the lowest TIC, or true interest cost, at 4.49%, called roughly 4.5%, for the issuance of these bonds. The next page shows the various pricing results as part of this issuance. The par amount, the principal amount that we're going to be issuing is $66,255,000, and you can see the coupons and yields on the bonds. The front end of the curve had higher coupons and yields, which led to a higher dollar price, which increased some of the premium, whereas the back end sold with a little bit more of a discount on those bonds. So ultimately, what does this look like in terms of the debt service payments? You can see what we've done in the first 18 months of this issuance is called capitalized interest, where we borrow some funds to help make those debt service payments as the increased utility rates begin online to improve our coverage ratios. And essentially what we've done is maxed out the amount of bonds that we could issue while also satisfying the additional bonds test, which was 1.25 times based upon 24 results with the currently adopted rates. So as a result, we were able to deposit just north of $61 million into the project fund, which are going to be able to be spent on city projects, and the balance, as you can see there on the right-hand side of the page, will be used to fund various sources, including capitalized interest, the reserve fund. So there is a debt service reserve fund policy that is required as well to cover a year's worth of debt service, essentially. cost of issuance, the underwriter's discount, and that bond insurance I talked about earlier. So once you factor in all those costs, the actual all-in true interest cost was 4.64%. The next page shows the parity debt service. So the parity bonds are the water and sewer electric bonds. It excludes the GFA loans because they are subordinate to this issuance. And so the maximum that we're able to borrow, the total debt service couldn't have exceeded 4.675 million. We left a little bit of cushion there right at 4.6 just in the sake of conservatism. So we maxed it out with just a tiny bit of cushion there, which you can see the ultimate debt service taps out right around 4.6 million starting in fiscal year 2030. And page 6 just shows what that looks like graphically. You can see the slight ramp up in the debt service payments as the rates come online, and so there'll be additional revenues available to service this debt. And then wrapping up on page 7, what we're asking you to do this evening is to approve that 4th supplemental bond resolution, which contains the final pricing results I outlined earlier today, and authorizes to proceed with the closing of the issuance and award the bonds to R.W. Baird this evening. The balance of the week, our legal team will be working to finalize the legal documents, and then on Thursday of next week, closing will be scheduled, at which point the funds will be wired to the city's construction account, and ultimately you guys can start moving dirt on a lot of these projects. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and again, pleased to be a part of this team, and congratulations on the culmination of a lot of hard work on the city staff. Eric, Tony, Joe, and Robbie put in a ton of work to get us to this point, so we appreciate all their work, as well as the legal team as well. Again, happy to answer questions as they arise.
Are there any questions?
The only question I have is when y'all close this, we're still gonna have our 10-year to where they mature in 10 years and we can pay them off.
That's right. So the call date on this one is February 1st of 2035. So a 10-year call date. That's the industry standard for publicly issued bonds. If there is, surplus monies, we can always escrow those bonds to the call date as well, but you have to pay the interest up until 2035. So you can kind of set aside dedicated funds to make that payment when they come due. But that does allow you to pay it off early in 10 years, and also opens the ability to refinance that debt in 10 years as well.
Other questions? Okay, I'm going to reinstate the request. It's for the approval of the 4th supplemental bond resolution authorizing the issuance of the combined public utility revenue bonds, Series 2025.
So moved.
Ms. Mayor Pro Tem, if you could also authorize the city manager in that motion to sign any documents on behalf of the city.
Okay, I would like to add in the motion to approve the approval of the 4th supplemental bond resolution authorizing the issuance of the combined public utility revenues bonds, Series 2025, and I also would like to authorize, have our city manager sign any documents necessary.
So amend my motion.
Yeah, so just so you know, that's already in the resolution to allow the city manager and or mayor to execute any related documents. But we felt like just for clarity, that in the event that the mayor is not available to sign whatever documents, that I'm authorized.
Okay.
So we keep this process moving.
Do we have a motion?
I'll amend my motion to add that.
Second.
We have a motion from Steve, a second from Nathan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposes. Motion passes. Thank you so much. approval of the contract renewal with Waste Management for residential solid waste and recycling.
So, Mayor Pro Tem, we are nearing the end of our existing agreement with Waste Management, and we have negotiated a renewal with them that is very favorable for the citizens of Social Circle. We will be going into a 3-year contract renewal with an extension of able to extend that for 2 one-year periods, so for a total of 5 years. The first year will see a 0% increase on residential sanitation and recycling rates for this year. So the current rates will stay the same. Moving forward, it will continue with the market index pricing as the escalation for contract pricing from that point forward, just as we've had in previous years. So we recommend approval of this contract.
It's a 3-year?
Initial term is 3 years with 2 one-year renewables, automatic renewables.
But there's no cap on how much it can go up the next.
It's whatever market pricing is. And that's what it's been.
And you said it's an automatic renewal?
Unless you all choose to opt out after the 3 years.
After 3 years, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract renewal with Waste Management.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Nathan and a second from Steve. All in favor, say aye.
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 No opposes. Motion passes. Okay, modification of Chapter 9, Article 4 of the City Code of Ordinance to regulate construction hours in or within 300 feet of residential zoning districts.
So as you guys know, we've had, Ashley's been working on trying to come up with a code of ordinances in order to start regulating construction hours in construction areas. We have, usually we don't have much of a problem, but we have had quite a bit of construction going on in a subdivision that has created some disruptions for the community. And so we think it's about time for us to revisit this issue and see if this is something that the council wants to do. So I'll invite Ashley up to present the recommendation.
Good evening. So based off of feedback from the work session where we did discuss this, I made some changes to what I proposed last time. We increased the amount of time Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's a full 12-hour workday on Monday through Friday. On Saturday, we increased it from, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, so it would be from 9 to 7. On Saturday, and we also added Sunday from 9 to 7. So that's a 10-hour workday on Saturday and Sunday. And I just also wanted to point out that this would not pertain to anything like on ag property, industrial property, or commercial property. And this only regulates something within 100 feet of the property line where the sound is emanating from. So if you're 100 feet away from the property line of wherever the sound is coming from and you can't hear it, that this would not apply to it.
And let's say somebody starts working early or later, what's the consequence?
So then, since code enforcement is not on during those hours, you would call the police and then the police would issue a citation and then they'd probably have to go to municipal court.
We'd ask them to stop first.
Yeah, we of course would encourage compliance. But if it's a repeat, if it's somebody that's kind of a repeat offender, then that's when we'll probably have to get a little more heavy-handed with our enforcement.
So my other question is, when we first started talking about this, we didn't have anything about sound and devices and the section 9-127.
Mm-hmm.
That was in there when we first started talking about this conversation?
The sound amplifying devices, yes, sir. That has been in there. I'm not sure when that got added in there, but it has been in there for a while.
Yeah, that's been the existing noise ordinance for quite some time.
Yeah.
No changes are proposed for that.
So this is just going to go on top of
It's part of the noise ordinance.
this noise ordinance?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember seeing that. But
And that only applies to sound amplifying devices like microphones, speakers, megaphones.
at 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Music. Okay.
Any other questions?
So this doesn't allow people to work on Sundays.
No, it
No,
does.
Yeah,
It does. I amended it. I'm not sure if it got updated
Okay,
on
because I
the.
was looking, it says Monday through Friday in between the hours of 9 to 6 on Saturdays.
Yeah, the one that I'm proposing, I did change, and I can give you this copy as well.
Okay.
But it would be 7 to 7 Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 7 Saturday and Sunday.
On the
As-
staff report, it says the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Do you have any other questions for Ashley?
I think the only concern that I think is still remaining from this is the off chance we have to deal with like a roofer type situation in the summertime. Because they tend to start early in the summertime, but it's like a 1-day thing. So I think that, we're ready to pass this as recommended, but I think that there's some kind of modification that may want to address that somehow in there, like allowing roofers to start off maybe half an hour earlier or something to that effect, because typically they get in there really early on the morning, summertime, and try to get out before it gets hot, as you can understand. But hopefully, there would also be some common sense applied to this.
They're going to be the ones who are going to make the most noise.
Yep.
That's
I mean, so
well,
that's
but
gonna be-
the complaints that we've gotten on construction have not been roofers.
No, it's been mostly site work, I would say, and probably more along
Masons,
the
brick-
framers.
framers, masons. They've been
Yeah.
the issues, not roofers.
Hmm. And as of right now, I think sunrise is 7:30, so this would allow somebody to start before the sun comes up.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Sunset's about what, 8?
Is 7:30.
something
I think we get about
right
12
now.
hours of sunshine now. Yeah.
Any other questions? You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Steve and a second from Nathan. All in favor?
Aye.
So the ayes have it, no opposition, motion passes. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Bid award for deep patching and milling from West Hightower Roundabout to East Hightower Bridge and Clark Street to the church parking lot.
So we are getting ready to embark on our major paving project for this year. That is the east and west side of Hightower, from the bridge, East Hightower just outside the door here, all the way over to the roundabout, and also including the area of Clark Street up to the church parking lot. This part of the bid award is for the deep patching and the milling, and what we want to do, we have to time this very carefully because we don't want to do any disruptions to school.
Yeah.
And so what we're wanting to do is go ahead and do the bid award for deep patching and the milling so that can be done when, maybe one day when school's not in session, and allow us to kind of monitor the deep patch and milling for a couple of months to make sure there's not any settling or anything like that of these repairs, so that by the time school gets out, we can have pavers come through and actually do the paving. And so we actually, we've had 7 bids for this. East Coast Grading is the lowest responsive bidder at amount of $62,599.95. And we checked the references. They've been doing a lot of work for Covington and Madison, and they come recommended. And so we want to give them a shot. So we recommend going with the lowest responsive bidder, East Coast Grading, at $62,599.95.
And are we done with all the water, stuff on that road for a while?
Yes.
We're good. Okay.
Yeah, eventually we're going to have to do some sewer repairs, but we'll probably likely do that with pipe bursting. So you won't have to open up the roads. So,
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
A motion to take the recommendation of the staff.
Second.
I have a motion from Steve and a second from Tyson. All in favor? Any opposition? Motion passes. All right, so is there a need of an executive session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like, is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Can you state the reasons?
It'd be for potential litigation in real estate, right?
Potential litigation and real estate. I have a motion, to go into executive session. Thank you.
Did we vote on that?
No.
We made the motions, but we didn't vote.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Susan, I know